Yeah, Philip, it's a fun section. It's a shame how it's presented in the game, I guess. We'll see that here in a little bit, but because of the focus on the Underdark so much during early access, there's a lot of people out there that don't even think about doing the Mountain Pass because it was never in early access, and also because the dial or the box that pops up when you try and enter the Mountain Pass is kind of misleading a little bit, and it might throw some players off from heading toward the Mountain Pass because of how it's interpreted. So I would have much preferred that the Mountain Pass would have been in the Act 1 early access content along with the Underdark. But, you know, I respect Larian's decisions to keep some of Act 1 content not available. And so it was available for the full version. But I wish that they would have changed that dialogue box that pops up, because it's something that's been complained about on the forums a little bit, and it's a common thing that's been noted amongst players, is that they wish the Mountain Pass was more publicized, I guess, so to speak. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome back. Appreciate it. Hey, Cyber. Yeah, that's alright. You caught some stuff on the board there. The VOD should be up, and chapter markers should be up if you do want to go back and view it. Yeah, Cyber, I will absolutely be doing streaming all the way through this. These two playthroughs, the Bard and the Paladin, are going to continue until I finish the game. So right now, both playthroughs are... The Paladin playthrough's a little bit farther ahead of the Bard playthrough, but they are both probably 3/4 of the way through Act 1 right now. They will both be continuing on through Act 2 and into Act 3. I will not take my personal playthrough, which is kind of fairly new into Act 3. I will not be taking that and doing a stream of Act 3. Act 3 will have to wait for these two playthroughs to progress until they get there. But yes, they will eventually be on the live streams. Yeah, Philip, that's exactly what I was talking about. The dialogue boxes discouraged players from going that way, and I think it's really misleading. When there is no dialogue box that does that with the Underdark, I don't really feel that there should be one in the Mountain Pass, which in my view is still Act 1. Mountain Pass has obviously some expansive content in it with the monastery, but the main way through the Mountain Pass, you don't even have to do the monastery. So you can just head into the Shadow Curse lands, which in my opinion is the start of Act 2. So I wish, if there was anything, a warning box or something like that, I wish it would be titled a little differently or worded a little differently to let people know that, hey, you can always come back to this area if you want. The enemies in this area here are going to be a little harder, and you want to be prepared for that, but you can always come back here. And it's just, like I say, it's... Yeah, that's right, Cyber. It's got a major expansion of Lae'zel's questline, and the, you know, don't get me wrong, the fights, especially at the end of that, are hard. They are not easy. But again, I think I would have preferred not to have a warning box at the start of the mountain pass and put it at the entrance to the Shadow Curse lands instead. But it is what it is, like I said. It's just wish it was done slightly differently. You had something for some reason that didn't let you go through the Underdark? Oh, Lord Henry, stop. Now you're just rubbing it in because I'm not playing one. I mean, I know exactly what I would play for my composition. I know exactly what party I would have. I mean, for me, my main character would either be a bard or a paladin. If I choose a bard, then I would bring in a hireling paladin. If I was a paladin, I would bring in a hireling bard. And then I would have Will to benefit from from the bard short rest song for his spell casting abilities, and then for the last one, it's probably still Astarion, just because there are so many hard locks in Act 2 and Act 3. There's just so many, and so many hard traps. I mean, it's just crazy. No. But yeah, bard, paladin, sorcerer, rogue. And obviously multi-classes of those things, but yeah, I know exactly what it would be. Try evil. Yeah, I mean, my paladin has made some interesting choices. Specifically with Karlach, that you all saw. There's another very interesting choice that I'm contemplating. Because Karlach is no longer around, there's somebody else who is no longer as necessary. But that decision involves more than just that person. It involves a lot more. And I'm still weighing whether or not I want to do it. Because it's a lot bigger. It's much more impactful a decision for what happens later on in Act 3 and Endgame than just what I did with killing Karlach. Yeah, no, Lord Henry, that's exactly what I mean. My paladin would again be a Hexblade paladin to be able to take advantage of the additional short rests from the bard. So it would really be a combination of the two parties that I'm playing here. But yeah, no, I know exactly what it would be. There's so much combat power with that combination of bard, paladin, and warlock that it's really hard to ignore. But I mean, especially with bard and paladin, it's just, especially in the game here, there's just so much. And legendary actions are huge. They're a game changer as far as a lot of that goes. Yes, Cyber, I did. This is patch 5. We're going to talk a little bit about it at the start in the admin notes. But yeah, I do really want that gold D20. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do want that gold D20, but just don't wanna start it when my personal playthrough's already into Act 3. So. Yeah, and the companion you get in Act 2, Cyber, is one of those things that I'm still debating. And like I say, that's one of the many consequences of the decision that I'm weighing back and forth in my head as to whether or not I want to do it. If I do it, it would be on the Paladin live stream. But I don't know, it's a huge decision. It's very, very impactful. Have I tried a Monk Rogue build? I have not in the game. Yeah, that's the classic Monk Rogue build. I have not done that in the game. I'm a little... I'm not saying anxious, I guess, but maybe a little worried about how that build would progress as you get farther into the game version of a Monk Rogue build. Because it would start to get quite a bit different without the expanded rule sets being fully involved. Yeah, Eric, and that's really what causes... I mean, you have both of those classes are dependent upon bonus actions. So maximizing the bonus actions that you have and the ability to use them together is the challenge that comes in with this. Like I say, especially without the expanded rule sets, but... Welcome everyone to today's live stream. This is episode 17 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on the admin note, because there is really one big thing that happened this week, and that is Patch 5 was released on Thursday for the game. Patch 4 was released about 3.5 weeks ago. Patch 5 is now live. There was also a probably somewhat hidden hotfix maybe or something like that was released later because my game, when I started it this morning, downloaded another update that was really small. So there might be something else hidden in there as well. But the big thing is Patch 5, and the amount of stuff in Patch 5 dwarfs what was in Patch 4. It's got a lot of performance improvements, which was a major issue after Patch 4 released. They are hopeful that with removing the stealth bug that was present in Patch 4, as well as improving optimization of VRAM and RAM utilization, as well as some of the reworks that they've done for loading and unloading of stuff in Act 3, that they have helped cut down on a lot of those performance issues. That work is still ongoing, but right now it seems very hopeful. I never really had a whole lot of problem in Act 3, even after Patch 4 with my game, but it runs perfectly smooth now. I don't have any issues with it, so I'm hoping that a lot of that has been fixed. The big content things that they added is they added an epilogue. This was a common complaint on the forums, that after the final battle happens, there's not a whole lot of time for reflection. It just ends, you're on the dock, you have a conversation with a couple of characters, maybe, and that's really it. And they've now added an epilogue that reflects all of the choices that you have made throughout the entire game, as far as party members you've recruited, allies that you've gained, and you're able to walk around and have completely new scripted and voice-acted conversations with all of those characters. And it really is a much more satisfying ending to the game than what used to be in Act 3. The fact that they were able to put all that together and get it all voice acted and everything and put it in the game is just amazing. As far as other content, they have introduced 2 new game modes. I hesitate to call these difficulty settings, but I guess honor mode is probably more of a difficulty setting than custom mode is. Honor mode brings the game much more in line with tabletop, meaning that you can't save scum anymore. You only have one save file, so if you want to save, you're constantly overwriting the save file previous. And there is permadeath, so if your party dies, you're done. That's what it is. You start over. You can continue the game in custom mode after that, but your honor mode playthrough is over. Honor mode also brings in something else from tabletop, and that's legendary actions and/or lair actions. And those are additional actions. I don't want to call them bonus actions. Those are additional actions that boss-type monsters have available to them every turn that they can use whenever they want to at the end of any character's turn. So they're not limited to just their turn to use those actions. As soon as one of your party members finishes their turn, they can use another of their legendary actions if they would like. It adds a whole new character to these interactions that tabletop players, at the end of their campaigns especially, encountering these boss-type monsters, have dealt with for a very long time. And seeing that brought into the game is a really good thing to see. Also, if you complete an honor mode playthrough, then you are rewarded with a golden D20 that you can select as one of the dice to roll with in the game after that. So it's just one of those additional things to do. Unfortunately, you have to start a new playthrough for honor mode. You cannot change partway through a playthrough into honor mode. It has to be from an entirely new playthrough. You can't change. They've also then added in custom mode. Custom mode allows you to manually adjust many, many different difficulty factors in the game. From dice rolls to hit dice to hit rolls and all sorts of stuff. You can make your game significantly easier. You can make your game significantly harder. It's entirely up to you. But those two play modes are now in the game, and I really wish I could do an honor mode playthrough, but I'm much too far into the game, into Act 3 now to start over. I'll just finish that playthrough out and then move into another one. So, another big thing that was a player request was inventory management, and we're going to see that right off the bat here, so I'm not going to go into it very much. But the short thing is that you can now access all of your character's inventories when you're in camp without having to bring them in and out of the party like you did in the past. That was a huge quality of life improvement. It had been done via mods, and Larian listened to everybody and said, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Don't know why we hadn't done it, so now you can do it. And we'll see that right off the bat here. There are a whole bunch of other stuff in the patch notes. Feel free to read through all of those because there are so many tweaks and additions to the content that has happened, especially in Act 3, that it's really important to read through some of them and see what all has changed. But there are all sorts of stuff, especially with Cazador's encounter, that have been slightly tweaked and are now different. So please look through them all. Get the thing downloaded. Hopefully it will improve performance over patch 4 and it will be better in every way. So I think that takes care of our admin notes. So on the recap, at the end of last 2 weeks ago episode, and like I said in the Bard playthrough, thank you for bearing with me as I took an unexpected weekend off with my family coming in unexpectedly for the holidays. But 2 weeks ago, we ended having collected the last of the Mithril ore in the Grym Forge. So we have all of our molds, we have all of the Mithril ore, and now it's time for us to deal with Grym. And we had gone into camp to take a long rest, and that's exactly where we are right now. So we're going to pick up with that, and we'll explain the new inventory system a little bit, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we are in our camp, and you should see a new icon on the HUD, and that icon is down here. So now you have access to your camp companions and their inventories from camp. You don't have to invite them into your party to outfit them anymore. You can do it entirely from here. So again, huge quality of life improvement. You can have your individual inventory screen open and just drag items into their inventory or into their equipping bar and kind of go from there. So an incredibly useful addition to the game, and one that, in most people's opinion, was overlooked from the start and needed to be dealt with. So I'm glad we finally got to see this taken care of. So here, looking through our quest journal, we have traveled through the Underdark, and we know that there's a route connecting the Grym Forge and the Moonrise Towers. We see that quest marker on our map right now. We did, we actually, did we not? We'll see that here in a second. We'll look at the Help the Spirit of the Amulet quest and see. I thought we had collected all of that stuff last episode. But we'll take a look when we get, actually I can tell right here if we did it or not. Okay, so we didn't do it. We didn't go into the chest because the amulet's not here unless it's in my...
I've got a long road ahead.
Traveler's chest. It's not, so we need to make sure we go back and do that. Okay, so we are finished up here from our long rest. I don't believe there's anybody that we need to talk to here. So we're going to go ahead and head to bed. Normally try not to use the Underdark mushrooms or the singles. So we need 7. So there's 3, and I know we have a 4 in the fish.
Food hungry. Want bite. Food. Eat more.
Careful. Once that thing's eaten through the camp, it might start looking at you hungrily.
No. Run.
I'm not chasing after it, if that's what you're thinking.
Okay, so we got our first cutscene with the owlbear. So the owlbear is going to be part of our camp, showing up here shortly after our next rest. And now we are ready to leave camp. Let's make sure before we do this. Sorry, I'm just thinking ahead a little bit here, because I'm going to have a decision to make. And if I make that decision, I don't want to have to come back here in a little bit to get ready for it. Okay. So let's leave camp here. Okay, so in our inventories again, we have both mithril ore, so did we just not open the chest down here for some reason? We might not have. Okay, so yeah, we've done everything else. Thank you for taking damage, Shadowheart. I appreciate that. Jumping from the top rope. Okay, so no, I haven't done this section over here. So I just went down and did this side over here, but didn't go do the lava elemental side. So we will go head over there. And I mentioned this in my other playthrough. For some reason,
Well, hello.
characters are a lot more likely to become stuck on the other side of jumps
There is work to do.
than they used to after I updated to patch 5. I'm not entirely sure why that is,
Still breathing, despite everything.
but I've had to make more manual jumps like that after moving into patch 5.
Very well.
Okay, so we'll head over this way.
Quite the lively little pond, aren't you?
Okay, so we're going to split our group here. And we're going to make our way over here with 2 of our characters. To do that, I'm going to try and avoid this lava as best I can. So it's really just a timing issue here. You can go into turn-based mode to do this if you would like. I don't think it's necessary though. It's really just waiting for the timing of these 2 to be right. We're going to wait for this fire on the ground to go away. Going to jump across.
By the heavens, a lava elemental. No wonder the lake's so volatile.
We can move right up here to the edge of this one. And then once this goes away, we're going to jump across here and move up to this area. Again, you can't see it. It's underneath this lava flow, but there is fire here on the ground, so trying to avoid it. Okay, and I'm going to move Astarion over there as well. The lava elemental is the cause of this disturbance. You can see it in his description, and once we get over there, we'll look at it some more. Be careful when you jump around here, because with Astarion's short jump range, it will actually want to jump him into, or walk him out into the lava to jump in certain locations, so. Alright, so now that we got everybody up here, we're going to take our Paladin and just move him around the back, put him into hiding.
Out of sight, out of mind.
We're going to put Astarion into hiding, and we're going to wait until the lava elemental gets around here a little ways into this area. And then we're going to go into turn-based mode. And we're going to start off this combat here. So examining the lava elemental, magmatic disturbance is what's causing the lava to bubble and explode out here. So once you get rid of him, that goes away. He also has magmatic regeneration, and this is 20 D10 of regeneration every time it starts its turn in lava. So if it's standing in lava when it begins its turn, it's going to regenerate. It has the possibility to regenerate all of its hit points that it's lost. It only has 95. It can regenerate all of them. So all of your previous round attacks would have been useless at that point. It is immune to fire damage. It takes double damage from cold, which is going to be very useful for Gale. It's immune to, or it's got resistance to poison and piercing damage from ranged attacks. However, a couple things that you notice that it's not resistant to are slashing and or bludgeoning damage and radiant damage. And guess what paladins love doing? So we are going to start this off with... Why don't I have advantage? Interesting. Okay, here I do. For some reason it wasn't giving me the advantage. Okay, so we're going to start off, and we'll cast Hunter's Mark here just to start off the combat. Okay, that puts Astarion into combat. The enemy is surprised, which means we're going to get a full turn of attacks here, and we need to maximize our damage output here for this round. So we've got Hunter's Mark applied, so we're going to gain a bonus to damage, but I want to get Astarion's sneak attack in there, so the detection cone for the elementals facing out this way. So I'm going to move in here. Or I'm just looking for something here. Okay. So I'm going to move in here and get into melee combat. Yeah, lava's so dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous here in the game, but it is so dangerous in tabletop. The amount of dice you have to roll for lava damage is stupid. So we're going to jump in here. I don't think trying to sneak through here is going to work. Because as soon as we take fire damage, it's going to knock us out of stealth and put us into combat. We'd have to move in there anyway. So I'm just going to move out here. Jump out here and get me into combat. Good call, Scorcho. Thank you very much. And I'm going to need to do that probably way the heck back up here. I love my chat. Thank you all very, very much.
Should mind my step. Don't waste a step.
One of those things that I still have not gotten used to in the game here, because when I played a Hexblade Paladin in my my tabletop game, the DM was nice enough just to automatically bind it. I had to tell him if I wanted to switch to a summoned weapon, or if I wanted to change it off of the weapon that I already had after a long rest. So thank you, I appreciate it. And again, now I'm going to jump in here. Okay, that's going to join battle. Again, I'm not too worried about the fire damage. It is what it is. But now I'm going to use my bonus action here. Because, yeah, this is an elemental. So I'm going to use my bonus action for Inquisitor's Might. Okay, I have an 85% chance to hit here. Okay, I'm going to throw in Luck of the Far Realms. Going to throw in Divine Smite. Okay, and we'll just throw a nuke down on him. So that took 2/3 of his hit points. So now Astarion doesn't need to be in hide mode to get sneak attack. And he's already going to get bonus damage from Hunter's Mark. So, geez, it's frightened, it's dazed, it's surprised, it's got Hunter's Mark. This is awesome. And I could add in an Arrow of Ice, but that's going to do AoE damage around it. Okay, so there's another 13 damage. Another crit there. It's baned as well now. Look at the list of conditions it has. So it's got 17 hit points left. We're going to bring Gale into this.
May it please, Mistra.
Okay, and for Gale, there's a couple of options here. I could Misty Step him over there, but I'm anxious actually to see what happens if he jumps from up here. If he can jump over the fire or not. He can. I don't know if that's in the fire or not. It is. So I was hoping that wasn't going to happen, but because now I need to get him just into a spot, because he's only got 9 meters of movement here, so I need to get him into a spot where he can see the elemental. So, oh, we can actually see him from here. And that was, no, he's got Morning Frost on.
Won't know what hit him.
And that ends that.
These beasts have seen everything.
So, Morning Frost against an enemy that is vulnerable to cold damage is just stupid. It's just stupid. What a cantrip can do at that point. So, oh geez, don't stand in the lava. Okay. So, didn't need Shadowheart during that at all, and now you can see the lava is no longer bubbling.
Hold it then.
What now?
Okay, so let's make sure we know what Astarion's gear is. We definitely want to change this out to the Gloves of Thievery. We can search the skeleton here. And we can unlock the adamantine chest.
Skeleton key.
This has a DC of 20. So this is the highest DC that we've, or one of the highest DCs that we've run into. The only other DC 20s I think were lock-picking the back entrances to the chapel way out on the beach. But we have 12 to 15 as our bonus, so we have to roll an 8 at the minimum here to pass this. Well, we rolled a 20 in the Bard live stream on that. We rolled a 19 here. Again, that bodes ill for the rest of the playthrough. Okay, and now in here, I'm going to have...
I'm ready.
Yeah, there's no choice. There's no question. I'm going to have Shadowheart open this. So we do have some elixirs here. Some good ones. Especially Elixir of the Colossus. And we have the Sentient Amulet.
Thou hast come!
The amulet is heavy, but holds a subtle warmth, like it was left under the sun. Suddenly, the metal surges with heat. You feel great power and an overwhelming urge to laugh.
Okay, so you have a couple of options here. The Cleric of Shar Wisdom option here gives you advantage on this roll. Otherwise, it's a wisdom-based roll here. You can give into the laughter. Your checks are going to become harder after that. But the Cleric of Shar Wisdom choice here gives you the best chance to not succumb to the amulet. I can add in guidance from her as well.
You know a fury more beautiful, more devastating than any. It wraps you in a comforting embrace.
Thou hast done well. For what is a laugh, if not one step toward madness? Thou art the wonder! Return me, take me home, and thou shalt glow with blessings. To my granddaughter, Shira Clarwen, serves Ilmata Shida. She waits in Worm's Crossing. Take me there, and thou shalt bathe in her golden gifts. Oh, thou shalt be blessed indeed. A ghost? I am sunlight on water, dew on grass. Sharons broke my body, but my spirit they could not. Well, not completely. Thou shalt return me home. It is written.
Okay, we do have some other checks we can make down here. So the insight is wisdom based, and we have proficiency in this. That's 3 19s in a row, chat. This is bad.
Beneath the rampant joy, you sense the monk's fear and sincerity. He doesn't wish to harm you, but that doesn't mean he won't.
And then we also have an investigation check, which all we get is the guidance bonus from. Oh no, this is horrible.
Etched face is an image of the dawning sun.
And then we do have religion proficiency for this last check here.
You recognize the symbol. It belongs to those sworn to Lathander, god of dawn and renewal. Whatever madness this spirit suffers was inflicted by Lathander's enemies, followers of Shah. And this madness may flow into you.
I shall walk with thee. I shall grant you my power.
So here I'm going to stow the amulet.
You feel a chuckle coming on, but it soon fades.
Oh, it's going to be a disaster, Philip. That's what it's going to be. I can tell already. Oh, the amulet is the sentient amulet. Now, this comes with a few things. This is a monk-specific item. It allows you to cast Shatter once per short rest. Shatter's a great spell. So we've seen it utilized before. Very, very good. It allows you to talk to the sentient amulet, so you can talk to the spirit that's within it. You can have some interesting conversations with them as you go. And then you have Ki Restoration. Ki is very similar to a bunch of the other class-specific things, like Bardic Inspiration, or Rage charges, or Channel Oath charges, Sorcery points, that sort of Channel Divinity points, that sort of stuff. You can use Ki Restoration as part of your monk abilities to gain more key points back to allow you to use more of your monk abilities throughout an individual combat. You can do that once per long rest as part of it, but that's what the sentient amulet does. The amulet is also mentioned that he was a monk, and he was a monk of Lathander, and we're going to learn much more about that here in a little bit as we progress into the mountain pass. But for now, we are finished in here.
No, never mind.
And now I have a choice to make. There is also, and I guess we can do this too. I didn't do this in my Bard playthrough, so I can do this with my Paladin. Doesn't really matter as much. There are other areas around the outside here, which you can jump to. You can find another Maragon Halberd over here. There's a skeleton you can search.
One day I'll catch a break.
Up here, more skeletons, vases, and stuff like that. Just be careful when you're walking around here. That's all I'm saying. Okay, and you have another Maragon Halberd here. We'll pick up and we'll kind of sort out our inventory here in a minute. Okay. Okay, now you can jump over into this area. There's no need to. There's nothing over there. This is as far around the outside as you need to go to pick up anything that was sitting out here. There's nothing else out here. However, you are seeing some really cool stuff down here in this area. More stuff that you're going to see much more of later on. Sorry, I'm concentrating quite a bit here while I'm doing this. Now let's see if we can jump back up here or not with our low strength. We can.
I applaud your
Okay, so we'll take Gale, move him back. And again, here's what I mean about being careful. You click over here, Gale's going to walk into the lava and then jump over there.
All right. What now? I have to keep going.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, if you're
No time
asking
to
Jerry if that's the gauntlet, no. Now, last is Astarion.
Step lightly.
Move him back over, and then we've got a decision to make. And I still don't want to do it.
No one's stopped me yet.
Okay, so
Best
here
way.
we have another choice to make. And
Welcome, rest.
I don't think I'm going to. I think I'd be taking too big of a risk. What I don't want to do is risk a party wipe here and have to restart the fight over again from scratch while I'm on stream. That seems to be wasteful of your guys' time for me. But what I was debating is whether or not I was going to do this fight the non-traditional way, the way that you can use to get an achievement from Steam, in killing Grym without using the hammer. It is certainly doable. It takes a lot more action economy to do it, and you have to manage the damage output that Grym can give you. Grym has a massively high strength. I think he's got a +8 to hit because of his strength score. So even having a 19 armor class buffed up with Shield of Faith or something like that still means that he's going to hit you the majority of the time. And you really have to manage that damage output to do this in a timely manner. If you try and kite him around, it takes a lot longer to do it. And what I don't want to do is make a mistake. Like I say, I'm on stream. I don't want to get 2/3 of the way through that fight, make a mistake, or run out of action economy or something like that in a critical situation, and end up with a party wipe, and then have wasted an hour worth of stream time showing it. I don't think that's useful to the stream here. So I think I'm going to play this the traditional method again, like you saw on the Bard. I was seriously considering doing it that way, but honestly, I think it's a waste of your time to see it. I think it's much more useful for us to get this done and then venture off into the mountain pass, rather than see me possibly fail this and have to redo it and not get anywhere else new. So, sorry. Just I think it's better from a stream from your guys' content standpoint to not have to see me possibly fail this. So, the way the Forge works has been explained to us in the books that we've picked up. So we have molds here, and I think we have them spread across our characters. We do. So we have the scimitar mold, the shield mold, the longsword mold, the scale mail mold, the mace mold, and the splint mold. So these allow you to use the 2 mithril ore you have, so you can only craft 2 out of these 6 items. So far, anyway. There might be a possibility that in an expansion or an update later on or something that Larian would add in more mithril and allow you to come back here later to craft more items. But right now you can only craft 2. And it's... in my mind, it's fairly... the armors, in my mind, are more useful than the weapons are, in my opinion. The weapons allow you to hit a target and invoke reeling. They're also +2 weapons. Reeling gives that opponent a -2 hit roll against you. However, the armors do that passively, and the armors can really give you a boost to armor class, both medium armor users and heavy armor users. So I think I'm going to go the same way this playthrough that I did in the last one, in that I definitely want my Paladin to get the splint armor. And for now, the luminous armor is great for Shadowheart. I can, however, bump that up with her armor class. I can also use that medium armor for other people who might be proficient with medium armor. So depending upon the choices that happen with Astarion, because right now Astarion is proficient with medium armors, so I could really bump up his armor class. I could bump up Shadowheart's armor class by 1. I can also utilize that medium armor on Karlach. Well, not in this playthrough, but you guys can utilize it on Karlach. The medium armor is extraordinarily useful. So I think I'm going to do the same thing this time that I did the last time around, and utilize those. Yeah, I mean, the shield replacing either of these shields that, or any of the shields that anybody have, is still, you know, very, very useful going forward. I mean, that's a... boy. I love my chat, but now you make me sit here with dead air and think about or second guess my decisions. I mean, I guess in all honesty, from an armor class standpoint, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. So I guess I can do it on this playthrough just to illustrate something different. I still think the medium arm or the scale mail is a better choice overall. But I guess I can illustrate this. It's not a bad choice. I guess is the way to put it. Move some of this out of here. Okay, and I don't care as much that he's encumbered. Okay. So we're going to place a mold here in the mold chamber. Yeah, I mean, and that's fine for now. The buffs that you get from the scale mail version of it, I think, are better than preserving her radiant explosion buff that she gets off of her armor. But like I say, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, and I'm happy to illustrate a different one here. So inside the mold chamber, we're going to put the splint mold heavy. We definitely want to get that. And now inside the crucible, you want to place one of the 2 mithril ore that you have. And now the forge is ready. So we're going to go over here and we're going to press this hammer, or this lever. The hammer is going to come down, but because there's no lava here, it's not going to actually forge anything. Okay, what it does do is drops the forge down here to this lower level. And now you have access to a lava valve, and you have access to the platform control button. The platform control button raises this platform back up to the top. The lava control valve does exactly what it says on the tin. It's going to release lava out of here and heat up the entire forge so that you can actually use it to forge some armor. It's going to drop the crucible down. Then you hit it with the forge lever, and this will open up, and whatever you crafted is going to be here inside the mold chamber. But somebody or something is going to be preventing you from doing that. And I think I'm going to play this slightly differently. I'm going to put my Paladin right here next to this area. I'm going to take Shadowheart and put her over here in this corner behind the pipes, and I'll put her into hiding. Astarion going to move over here.
Charmed, I'm sure.
And Gale going to move over here. Actually, no, I'm going to reverse that.
Shall we?
I'm just going to move Astarion up to here instead.
You have my attention.
Okay. So, slightly different positioning for this time from my last one, but I want to try and do something else here. So now that I've got this, I want to bind this weapon. Okay. And at this point, I think...
I'm ready.
Don't touch me.
Because here I'm not, again, going to be trying to cause a whole lot of damage to him. Okay, so I guess what I can do is move my Paladin back here. I guess I can up my to hit. And then before it runs out, move him up to here. Change to Shadow Heart and have her activate the lava valve. You're gonna find out, Jerry, that Smite's not gonna do anything here. Oh no, and I picked a flail. Okay, so I messed this up, I'm pretty sure.
Never a dull moment.
Okay, no, a flail's bludgeoning damage in this game. For a second, I thought a flail was going to be piercing damage, because a flail is a spiked mace, so it really should be inflicting piercing damage, not bludgeoning damage, but it is. So the first turn here, well, let's look at Grym, I guess, first. We'll examine him. So again, +7 to his strength attacks. So he's got a really high strength. So his plus to hit with that big mace, you know, spiked mace type thing he has here, he's got a huge +7 bonus to hit. So if you're doing this the other way, where you're trying to just attack him, you're going to have to really buff yourselves up and debuff him to try and keep him from hitting you. Because he hits hard. He hits real hard. And you have to manage that damage. So he is superheated. So superheated means that he is now available to be damaged by certain damage types. When he's not superheated, he is completely invulnerable to damage. You can only damage him once he's superheated, but you're still limited on what damage types you can use. Psychic, poison, necrotic, fire, lightning, and radiant damage he is immune to. So that means my Paladin Smite, I'm not going to be able to nuke Grym here because that is radiant damage. And that he's completely immune to it. He is, however, only resistant to slashing and piercing. He's going to take half damage from slashing and piercing weapons. He's vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, though, which means that he is going to take double damage from bludgeoning weapons that are used against him. He's also resistant to acid, but that means he takes half damage, and he takes half damage from thunder, cold, and force. So you can't damage him, but he's resistant to all damage types except bludgeoning. So if you're going to be fighting him melee based, then you need to be equipping bludgeoning weapons to do it, and be aware that some of these major damage types he's completely immune to. He has the Vengeful Guardian trait, and you're going to see this play out, and this is how you manage who Grym is going to attack. Okay? And we'll see that play out more not this turn. Well, we'll see it play out this turn and we'll explain it, but it's not going to be as useful this turn as it will other turns. The next thing to notice is that Shadowheart is not in combat. He is hidden over here. The detection cone from Grym is not looking at her. So she is not in combat. That means she can activate this lever whenever we need her to activate the lever. The Grym walking in lava is the only way that he becomes superheated. So if the lava disappears, which it's going to in 2 turns, then we need a way to bring that lava back out and to get him to step into that lava to become superheated again. Having a character not in combat be able to trigger this is very useful because I can trigger it any time that I want, anywhere in the combat. However, if you do want to get all of your characters into the fight, the lava valve can be triggered with a ranged weapon. So you don't have to be standing right next to it. Just like any other lever in the game, you can shoot it with a bow and trigger the lava valve and actuate this out. That will, of course, just take your action to do it, or with Astarion, it would take a bonus action if I use his offhand weapon to do it. So you will sacrifice some action economy to do it that way. Whereas here I'm sacrificing an entire character's output, but I can trigger this whenever I want. So you can play this however you feel is necessary for
What
you.
comes easy these days?
So now what we want to do is, no matter what happens on this turn, Grym is not going to attack. He is in the state that you can equivocate to being surprised. This turn is free damage for us to get caused on him, and we want to cause some minimal amount of damage here if we can, to be able to overcome what might happen with the Forge Hammer later on. So I'm going to go ahead and get an attack here on Grym, and I'm going to try and hit him here with this Corrosive Strike and see what happens. Again, this is bludgeoning damage. He's resistant to acid. And I missed. So I am going to use Tenacity to deal bludgeoning damage anyway. Okay, so now the threat assessment has popped up. You can see that I have the condition of being the prime target. That means Grym is going to ignore everybody else on the map, and he's going to walk toward me and try and attack me. Okay, that's what that means. Now that can shift to other people. For instance, if I utilize Astarion here, he's out of range here. I should have learned my lesson last time. Because I really don't want to take him over there and then have to get him back. So target's outside of normal range, and you can see if I take that shot, it's going to move Astarion into the lava to take it. So I definitely do not want to take that shot. Okay, so we'll look at Gale here, and again with Gale I just want to start causing some minimal amounts of damage, and I can do that with force damage from Gale. So I have the psychic missiles here, I can shoot off 4 of these right now. They're going to cause very little damage, but now you can see the prime target has shifted to Gale. Okay? And I want to keep that in mind because magic missiles always hit. And if they always hit, they are always going to trigger the prime target shift from Grym to Gale. So Gale is a great person to have here to be able to shift the aggro off of somebody else. Because now Grym is going to want to attack Gale. He won't go after my Paladin standing right next to him. Okay? And that's how you kind of manage what Grym does here. So we're going to end the turn. And Astarion, unfortunately, isn't going to do anything from there.
Still breathing.
Grym's going to awaken. And I guess I can... He's immune to necrotic damage, though, so that doesn't matter. Grym is going to awaken. And now he's ready to attack. So the threat assessment's gone. So Gale's no longer the prime target. So here I'm going to try and attack again.
Still on my feet.
With my Paladin and get some damage in here to start with. Okay, so the Divine Smite is going to cause radiant damage. He's immune to radiant damage. So I might as well not use it and save those spell slots for something else. So I'm going to not react. Now the threat has shifted here. And again, Astarion, I'm not going to utilize right now. I'm going to have Gale drag the aggro again. And now I have all these spell slots to be able to cast Magic Missile with. Gale's the prime target, so he's going to walk in a straight line right toward Gale. And I want Gale
On my way.
to be standing here at this corner. So he walks in a straight line toward Gale and ends up right here on the forge. Now, his Grym's movement speed, and again, I think this is still bugged. I checked it last time, but I want to check it on different characters. Yeah, it doesn't display his movement speed. But Grym can move from the center of this circle, so basically from the dots in the center of all these platforms, to the middle of this platform in one movement. So he's a little bit behind that center part. He's back here by about a meter or so he's going to probably end up a little short, like around in here. And that's critical to understand how far he can move, so you can maneuver him around this battlefield. Okay? So I'm going to end all of my turns here.
Some fun. Nothing important is ever easy.
I'm going to get an option for an opportunity attack. I do not want to take it. If I hit him, the threat is going to shift to me, and Grym's going to turn right around and pound me in my face. So I do not want to react here. Okay? So now he's standing right underneath the forge. The forge is bludgeoning damage. It does a lot of bludgeoning damage. And all you have to do is hit the forge lever to bring that down. The only way you can damage Grym, as I've said before, is if he's superheated. If he's standing under the forge lever and he's not superheated, and you drop the forge hammer on him, it will knock him prone, but it will not cause any damage. Alright, so that's a key thing to understand about the mechanic. is that he has to be superheated even for the Forge Hammer to be able to damage him. So we're going to go over here, and yeah, Cyber, that's it. Attacks of opportunity, you need to put them on Ask. You do that by using your Reactions tab. You need to make sure that they're on Ask, especially for this fight. Because if it triggers automatically and you hit him, even if you don't cause damage, he's going to turn around and smack you right in the face. So here, I'm going to go trigger the Forge Hammer, and now I have freedom of movement. I can move anywhere out here because there's no lava. So I want to think about this for a second here. Okay, I'm going to dash here. I'm going to make my way over here with Astarion. I can still shoot the forge lever from here, so that's what I'm going to do. But before I do that, let's position everybody else. So
Survival is all that
I'm going to
matters.
reposition my Paladin here for the future. And
Witching hour.
Gale, I'm now going to move over here on this side. Okay. So for the rest of this, again, it doesn't really matter what I do with this turn, and you're going to see why here in a second. So I'm going to cause some more damage to Grym just because I can. Or should I? No, actually, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that action for
This feels good.
this turn. I'm going to trigger the forge lever. And several things happened there. First, we crafted our armor. So that's nice. I will say this. If you are doing this the non-traditional way and you're trying to fight him, once you've crafted that armor, use your turn on your martial character to run up, grab that armor, and equip it. Okay, I'll just tell you that right now. Sacrifice a turn of damage to get that armor equipped as soon as you can. Because he is susceptible to the reeling trait, or the reeling effect. And that's going to make it harder for him to hit you later on if you're doing this. For now, I'm just going to ignore it. Second thing is he took a huge amount of damage. He took 128 points of bludgeoning damage. They have this fixed now. They must have changed this in one of the patches. Because I find it hard to believe that I've done 128 points of bludgeoning damage all 4 times that I've hit him in the 2 playthroughs here. It's always 128. That's so weird because, yeah, it's 12d8 is what it's supposed to be. I would seriously doubt it would always come up to be 49 for the damage roll. So, assuming he's going to get hit with 128 points of bludgeoning damage again next turn, I'm going to need to get rid of 9 more points, hit points somehow. So, I need to kind of manage that. The next thing that happened is that the threat assessment shifted to whoever pressed the lever. So, Astarion is now the threat. I'm going to wait and hold commentary on what happens with this prone effect. Something I had never experienced before happened last stream, and I want to see if it happens here. But the next thing that happened is that the 4 magma mephits have now popped up. And at this point, I'm going to... Let me see if Gale's turn is still active. It is. Good. So I am going to drop an ice knife. Come on, Gale. Here. Okay, so that killed one. And now at this point, I'm again not so worried about the target or the targeting here. What I am going to do, however, is make sure that nobody is standing on the lava areas.
To keep focused.
I'm going to reactivate the lava valve. Just in case this encounter plays out like I'm used to it playing out.
Creator. Destroyer.
Okay, so Gale's turn is done.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
Can I reach any of these? I can. They're vulnerable to cold damage. So I can use my arrow of ice here. Okay. And now for Astarion, just... No, I can't move him any farther. We'll just move him back a little bit. Let's hope it doesn't do the same thing I'm used to seeing. But we'll see.
Tale for the ages.
Okay. So Grym now just uses his turn to stand up. He doesn't move. In the past, well, not in the past, but prone, how it works is you use half your movement speed to stand up, but you still have half your movement speed left. And he would use that movement to move toward whoever the active threat was. He no longer does that, it appears. So what I now want to do is make sure that I'm using Gale to drag that aggro again. So with my other characters, I can focus on taking out the mephits. Actually, that was a mistake.
This is worth the cost.
Because I don't think I'm going to have the range. I think I'd have to move over here to be able to attack him. Yep, I would. So that mephit's going to get an attack on Astarion here. I could Misty Step over there, I guess. Yeah, target's too far. Let's see if I can move over here to the corner. See if I'm within range now. I am. Okay, good. So that got rid of them entirely. So now with Gale,
Death is
again, want Gale to grab the aggro. And I'm going to do that first while he's guaranteed to be within range here. That caused no damage because he is not superheated. And now I'm going to move Gale all the way to the back of this platform here.
Pawn to Cleric 4.
He's going to walk in a straight line toward me, and he's going to end up somewhere right around here.
No choice
But he's also going to gain the superheated trait, by walking through the lava. Why did he do that? Oh, wow. Gale was the prime target. And he said, I don't care about that. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to stomp on somebody. It's so dumb. Because now he's in... Well, I guess you get to see how this illustrates. Now, if I drag him directly toward one of these spots, he's going to move from here and he's going to move to, like, over here. He's not going to be on the platform anymore. So you can't hit him with the hammer because he's not lined up with it anymore. So what I need to do is move him to a strategic spot where he's lined up and is ready, or his movement gets him in line so that I can move him out here. So what I need to do is, instead of moving him directly toward me and having him end up like here or something, I need to move him like down here. Okay, and that means that since I don't want to be in melee range of him, I need to move Gale to like right here after he drags the aggro, and just hope that that he follows. So the other thing I'm worried about, the closeness doesn't matter. He walked right by my Paladin. He was right next to my Paladin in the first round. He's not supposed to do that. He's just not. The threat assessment was on Gale. So I have no idea why that happened. None. So I need to move a little closer because I'm not entirely sure I can get Magic Missile to hit from back here. I can't. So I'm going to have to move a little closer first. Drag the aggro and then move to like here. I think.
Of course.
And now I'm going to just move
Another fight.
everybody else. Well, I'm not going to move my Paladin because I don't, and that was probably a mistake. I should have caused more damage with my Paladin here and then used Gale to drag the aggro. So I sacrificed some damage there.
Miss this.
And now Astarion, I'm just going to move him out of the way. Because I don't know what happened there. And I don't want to chance it again.
Time to move.
Okay, now he should not. He should not go after my Paladin. The prime threat is Gale. There's no reason he should go after my Paladin. This is exactly like the first round.
Come on, can't stay idle. A rough tempest I will raise.
Okay, that's what should have happened. Keep walking. Okay, that might be close enough. Maybe. He's a little close. He might walk off the hammer, but we're going to have to chance it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to chance it. So what I want to happen now is I want my Paladin to grab his aggro if I can. I could do it again with Gale, but Misty Step doesn't reach all that far. So I would like to try and grab it with my Paladin first. But let's see if I can land any of these. And I don't think he would pass it anyway, but... Ooh. Ooh. If he gets knocked back just a little bit, that would probably help me. But I don't think he's going to have to fail the check. And I don't think he's going to fail it anyway. But if I do that, can I still get over here? I can get close enough that it'll work. So, sorry, just managing my economy here. Boy, I could do this. I could hex his strength. Because if he gets knocked back, it's going to help me a little bit. So I've got a 50-50 chance on both of these to hit. So hopefully we get lucky and drag his aggro. Okay, so he didn't get knocked back. He passed his saving throw for it. We need to get my Paladin up off of the lava surface.
One day I'll catch a break.
Back here. We need to get Gale
I don't fancy their chances.
off of the lava surface. Hopefully that's enough. I think it is. Oh boy. I don't think it is. I'm gonna not take the chance. I'm gonna Misty Step Gale out of here. I don't necessarily believe that that's enough. He looks to have 1 foot in the lava, and I don't like that. Because he would die when the lava comes out. And now I'm going to activate the lava lever again. Now, when Grym turns around, Shadowheart's going to enter combat. Because his detection cone is going to overlap her. So this will be the last time that I can trigger the lava valve whenever I want. I have to do it with a turn now.
Where do I go from here? Hungry for the slaughter.
And we'll see if he's still on this thing or not. Just a clip. Oh, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? Well, only one way to find out, right?
Shall we dance?
What do you know? Just grazed him. It's just a scratch. It's just a scratch. Okay. So, that ends Grym. So we can go search him real quick. Grym has the Grim Skull Helm. The Grim Skull Helm has the standard heavy armor helm trait that attackers can't land critical hits on the wearer. That's very, very useful. It grants resistance to fire damage, which is great, because fire damage is very prevalent in this game. It also allows you to cast Hunter's Mark once per short rest. And Hunter's Mark is just free damage to anything that is susceptible to piercing damage. Actually, it's once per long rest. It's just free damage as long as you can maintain the concentration. So giving me the ability to add in additional piercing damage on top of smite damage and critical hits and everything else is a bonus that the Grym Skull Helm allows me to do. The next thing, remember, we crafted our Adamantine Splint armor. So we immediately want to change out to the Adamantine Splint without a doubt. So all incoming damage is reduced by 2. Huge benefit. It's an 18 armor class, which means it's the equivalent of a +2 chainmail, or the same armor class as plate mail is. We have intense adamantine backlash, so when an enemy hits me with a melee attack, they get the reeling condition for 3 turns. Reeling gives that enemy a -1 penalty to attack rolls for every turn remaining, which means they're going to start out with a -3 to hit for their next turn, and then a -2 to hit, then a -1 to hit. And this is for any enemy that hits you. So intense adamantine backlash is a huge thing to allow you to stand in the middle of a group of enemies and deal out damage. And remember, we have the dueling trait, which gives us advantage, or we have the gloves here that give us advantage on whenever we are surrounded by 2 or more enemies. So this can really help us in that regard of being a frontline tank. Disadvantage on stealth checks is normal for all of our heavy mail. And again, with the Adamantine Splint, attackers can't land critical hits on the wearer. So my armor class is 19 right now, bumps up to 20. That is a big armor class. That's one of those numbers that now for somebody to hit you when they have no bonuses to their to hit, they have to roll a nat 20 to hit you. Now, obviously, characters have bonuses to hit you, either strength bonuses or dexterity bonuses, or spell-based bonuses or that sort of stuff to help drop that number down, but upping it by 1 is a huge deal. And then we also picked up the Grym Skull Helm. Now this would go with our, go against the Helmet of Smiting here. So the bolstering smite means that whenever I apply a condition with one of my smite spells, I'm going to gain temporary hit points. Now what's important, equal to your charisma modifier, which right now would be a +3, I believe, or is it +4? It's +3. So I gain no, it is +4, my fault, it's 19. So I would gain +4 temporary hit points whenever I, and this is what's critical, apply a condition. Your normal Divine Smite does not apply a condition. It would only be when you use Wrathful Smite to apply Frighten to a target that I would gain those points. So still very, very useful, but it's one of those things where you kind of have to look at and see which one of these 2 helms are going to suit you the most in what you're doing. And right now I use the radiant damage smite a lot more than I do any of the other smites that I have. So I think applying the Grym Skull Helm to my Paladin is probably the best use of it. You can use the smite here, especially on Karlach as a character. She's going to get the Searing Smite as a class, or as a racial ability. And having the Helmet of Smiting on her would allow her to gain temporary hit points whenever she uses that. Their tieflings get it in general, so if you have a tiefling character of whatever class, they could benefit from this as long as they're able to wear medium armor. But for now, I think this is the best setup that I have here. So the next one that we're going to do is to craft the shield, right? So to do that, we're going to eject the mold. We're going to pick this up. We're going to go back to the mold chamber. We're going to insert the shield mold. We're going to go back to the crucible. Insert our second piece of mithril ore. And now we're going to, again, make sure that nobody's standing on the ground. And yes, I know I'm heavily encumbered. I don't really care. We're going to use Shadowheart to trigger the lava again. And we're going to immediately change to... That's going to drop the crucible down. We're going to change over to Astarion to drop the hammer on it. And that's going to forge the Adamantine shield. Now the lava is going to disappear on its own. And we can go pick it up.
Onward. Better take that.
And now we can eject that mold. And for now, I can take all of these molds and just send them to camp. Like I say, right now there's no ability to craft any more adamantine weapons or armor. These are the only options that you have because we are out of ore. But you never know. There might be an update or something like that. So I'll save them. There's no need for me to carry those around. And now the adamantine shield. So the adamantine shield is still +2 on your armor class. The adamantine shield trait is the same as what's on the armor trait, in that except when a melee attack misses you, the attacker is sent reeling for two turns. So now it's not an on-hit thing, it's an on-miss thing. So if they miss you, they're going to be sent, they're going to get a -2 to their attack roll and then a -1 to their attack roll the next turn after that. So it's going to make it even harder for them to hit you. Now with this shield, attackers can't land critical hits on you. So again, that's not a normal thing that you see on shields, so that's a shield bonus. And then it also comes with the shield bash. So when a foe hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to knock it prone unless they succeed on a dexterity saving throw. So you can use your reaction, your opportunity attack reaction, if somebody hits you, to try and knock them prone. Why is that useful? When a target is prone, they cannot take reactions. So if they hit you, you can knock them prone, and then you can leave melee range without getting an attack of opportunity. And also, you can move away using your full movement speed. They need to use half of their movement to stand up from being prone. That's the last line on it. A prone creature must spend half of its movement speed to stand up, so they wouldn't be able to catch up with you. So they can't move or take actions, bonus actions, or reactions. They have disadvantage on strength and dexterity saving throws, and any attacks against anybody that's prone on the ground have advantage if they're within 3 meters of the creature. So any melee attacks against it are going to have advantage. So again, can be useful. It's definitely much better than any of the shields I'm carrying at the current point. It's just I think that the adamantine splint mail or the adamantine scale mail is just more versatile in the passive things that it always done, and I can shift it to 4 other characters in here. So, but again, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I'm certainly not disappointed with crafting it. That is what it is. So, okay, so now I can group everybody up, and we are finished down here. I'm still encumbered slightly. Let's see if we've got any other... Oh yeah, let's change this back. We'll put this back on Shadowheart. I don't think she has enough for this. Oh, she does. No, she doesn't. Now she does. Now everybody's good. Oh, let's search the methods real quick.
Something good here, I hope.
Hey, Assassin, good to see ya. And yeah, Pete, I'm not entirely sure why that target threat assessment messed up. That wasn't supposed to happen. Thankfully, we were able to work around it. Gale makes this encounter a lot easier because Magic Missile is a no-brainer for him, and he can cast it so many times to drag aggro, so we're able to get out of it fairly easily. But yeah, I don't know why that happened. It shouldn't have. But I'll go look at the forums later on tonight and see if anybody else has reported it or not. And now that you're done down here, you can use the platform control to take it back up. You always want to leave the platform in the upper position, just in case. Again, you could fast travel out of there while it's down on the bottom. But then if something is added later on and you can pick up more mithril ore somewhere, then you'd have to fly or feather fall down there to try and craft it all again. And things can get, like I say, a little bit strange. So always bring the platform back up to the top up here. And now that I'm here, I think everything is done. We completed the Adamantine Forge quest. So everybody else, I have no idea. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that one glitched out. So we have Near's Head. We have not reported back to Sovereign Spa yet. I guess we didn't. Oh, we had the Disintegrating Nightwalkers here, and I didn't change those out either. We're gonna have to go through I'm gonna have to go through my inventory off stream. And prioritize some of this. So let's head back to the Myconid colony and turn in that quest. Yeah, I mean, that might be El Scorcho. I mean, that might be the reason, but that's not supposed to happen. That's why specifically it says that the threat changed to Gale. There might be a bug in there that even though the threat changed, because you didn't cause any damage, for some reason it doesn't register in the game code. But the rendering shows the red outline. The condition was on Gale in his status bar. So it shouldn't have done that. But again, I'll take a look at it and see. Oh, thanks, Assassin. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's... all of you guys are great. All of the people who have shown support to the channel are amazing. I don't expect anybody to do any of that as far as the growth, quote-unquote, for the channel goes. I certainly appreciate if people do, but I'm never going to ask anybody to do that. I'm certainly thankful for everybody that does it. For me, just playing games, hopefully I entertain a little bit, and hopefully you guys learn a little bit as we go as well. That's much more what's important to me. But so let's go talk to Blurg here real quick.
Welcome back. Have you made
We can
any
clear
new
out our
discoveries?
inventory.
I do enjoy a good bargain, if anything in my private collection is to your liking.
So we're going to go to Baldur here. Whoops. Get rid of some of these things that we definitely don't need. I don't know why. I like keeping the Githyanki slates. I have no idea why. And the engraved pin I'm going to keep. I don't know of any use for it, but never know. Okay, and I think I picked up... Yeah, I can't use lightning charges on here because I don't have the spell sparkler, so I'm not going to pick up Lifebringer. Yeah, these things I didn't need and got rid of. So we will balance that out and trade it. I don't need the dagger +1. Whoops. I don't need the Char and crossbow either. Don't need the chainmail +1 or any of that. So I need to watch where she is in, or where he is in the gold department. Don't need the adamantine slag. Get rid of the incense. Okay, and we'll balance that out. And he's almost out of gold, so I will save the rest of this.
Very well.
For Omelium.
I greet you, child of the sun. How has your search for the mushrooms fared?
Did I not come back and do this either?
These are fine specimens. It will only take me a moment to brew them to proper potency.
Omelium turns away to prepare the potion, lost in its own musings.
You must drink the entire draught. I can make no promises as to its taste.
Okay, so if you drink the potion, you're going to have to pass a background constitution check, and I failed it.
Burning on the way down. It's a bolt of agony straight to your stomach.
Not a drop left. Very good. As the potion influences your mind, you may find yourself acting irrationally. Try and stay focused.
The world loses its edges, its finer boundaries. You are fluid, but trapped like a creature suspended in amber.
Okay, so I do have wisdom proficiency here, even though I don't have a great wisdom. So I can cast resistance cantrip to add to this.
Dark holes bite at the edges of your vision, but the void cannot draw you in. The tadpole spasms, seizes. It's fighting the potion even harder than you are. Fear pierces your mind like knives of ice. The parasite digs deeper, as if it means to hollow out your skull.
Okay, so again, a wisdom-based saving throw. I do have a better one here with the Absolute's Warboard. So we'll take this one. It's a higher DC now. Wish I'd have saved that 17 roll for this one, because now I'm going to roll a 5. I believe I have inspirations. Yes, I do. Come on. That's good.
The cold blades lose their edge. You are stalwart, turning that tide of fear against itself. The parasite swells with power, More power than you have ever felt before. It surges and twists, lashing out against that which would dare to intrude. The parasite in your mind quiets, pleased with itself.
Omeluum, are you well?
That lava is like nothing I have ever observed before. Its power is unsettling. Such an outcome was not in my calculations. There is more to this being than mere stasis. Indeed. Although I may have another solution, albeit a temporary one. I possess a ring of mind shielding. It prevents elder brains from noticing my presence. It will not remove the lava, but it will limit its influence, both positive and negative. I would offer it as a gift, but in truth, the ring is priceless. Is there anything you could offer me in turn?
So I do have intimidation option here.
A fascinating topic indeed. What can you tell me?
This opens up a performance option that is less than my intimidation option for this. However, I don't really like intimidating people if I don't have to. A high DC here, but again, if I don't pass this, not really a big deal. I guess I could use friends on him. He might be a little upset with me afterward, but I don't know if that would cause him to become hostile. I think it just gets an attitude adjustment. Oof. I would really like to do it. But this gives me a 50-50 chance. This gives me better than 50-50, so might as well roll it, see what happens.
What a brilliant experience. To feel one step closer to my ancestors is a fine gift indeed. Here, it is yours. May it serve you as well as it has served me.
That thing better work. If it doesn't, I doubt you'll be in any position to complain.
Of course, the lava remains. Be ever vigilant of its growth.
Okay, so I did get poisoned here. So I'm going to change to the Amulet of Sylvanas on Shadowheart. Then I'm going to have her cast Restoration. And that'll get rid of it.
Looking ahead.
Okay, so now we can talk to Omelium as a traitor.
You, son child.
And yeah, I guess I hadn't gone in here before. So we've talked about some of these before. Creation's Echo is whenever you cause any of the major damage types, you become resistant to that damage for 2 turns. Not all that great, in my opinion. The Shade Spell Circlet is another one of those things that works great for if you're going down the whole role-playing of the Dark Justiciar line, because you're trying to be obscured in shadow the whole time that you're a Dark Justiciar. This would go along that same line. Whenever you're obscured, your spell DC goes up by +1. Again, situational at best, in my opinion. The Ring of Salving is a straight-up cleric type ring. Shadowheart doesn't have another ring for a ring slot, so I'm definitely going to pick this up. Whenever I heal somebody, or whenever Shadowheart heals somebody, she's going to gain 2 hit points. So it's a way to self-heal while you're healing. And then you have the Pearl of Power Amulet. The Pearl of Power Amulet is an item that allows Pearlescent Restoration as the trait. Pearlescent Restoration is the same thing as Arcane Restoration. It just allows you to replenish expended spell slots once per long rest. It's a way to help get your action economy back without having to take a long rest. So that's great for any spellcaster to have. You can just equip it and while you're out of combat, and you don't need to take a long rest to get a spell slot back. So now in here, I'm going to clear out all the rest of these. Yeah, CK, I mean, the whole Dark Justiciar thing is a whole RP thing. I mean, it's great. I like the fact that it's there. If you also wanted to go down, I guess, the more spell-oriented rogue, and try and stick to the shadows a lot, you certainly could. You certainly could play that way. It's really set up, you know, more for the Dark Justiciar spellcaster who's going to sit back in the shadows and cast that way. So I like it. It's just not as useful for me in my playthroughs. The last thing that we didn't talk about, I guess, was the Boots of Stormy Claimer. These have Arcane Echo Malefaction, which is whenever you inflict a condition upon an enemy, that's any condition at all, you're also going to give them 2 turns of reverberation. Reverberation is one of those, it builds up in an enemy type of things. So it's like it gives them an internal echo. They have a -1 penalty to all the martial skills, strength, dexterity, and constitution saving throws per remaining turn. So it's going to start out at a -2 saving throw to all of those. However, if you keep inflicting conditions on them turn after turn, then eventually it's going to build up where the echoes inside of them burst out in 1d4 thunder damage and possibly fall prone. I don't think that's enough damage to be dealt for how long it takes 5 turns of reverberation to be built up in a target, but again, something useful if you're going that, you know, that thunder or shatter based route, something like that, just not for me. Now I'm definitely going to pick up these Elixir of Psychic Resistances. Those things are always very, very useful. Let's make sure there's nothing else left to trade here. There is a little bit. And I do have these Marion halberds and hand axes and that sort of stuff. So all of this I don't need. Just some +1 weapons and Marigon halberds. Don't need the Dark Justiciar mail. Don't need the Dark Justiciar mask. All these other things are going to end up getting sent to camp. But I think that should be it. Don't need this hide armor sitting in here. And yeah, that's it. The rest will get sent to camp.
May your travels be safe and swift.
That's true. I guess Flourish, I forgot about Flourish being able to stack them up on a turn and get more than one condition inflicted per turn. I still think it's too low a damage roll, in my opinion. I think it should be at least a 1d8 or 2d4, something like that at the minimum. I believe we've had these conversations.
What's up for discussion?
Thanks again for offing that drow. Only made it here because of you. But I can't stop thinking about the rest of us. Stuck in Moonrise with a bunch of sadists. Poor bastards.
We've had some rest. Maybe we can still go back for the others.
No long bugs.
Let's turn in Nir's head.
Peacebringer, be at home.
You are one with Spore. Your throat tightens, then relaxes. The air is serene, your mind untroubled.
The songs we sing now carry your spirit. I first named you Peacebringer. I now name you Kin Spirit.
We'll be looking a lot worse if...
Peacebringer, be at home.
Okay, that's a mistake. They just named me Kin, not Peacebringer.
The drow sought to shatter our circle. Now his flesh may feed its growth. In dealing death, you have brought this circle life, and thus we name you Life Chanter. As our circle grows, so shall your song. Wherever you go, only listen, and you may hear it.
Okay, and you get rewarded here with the Envoy's Amulet. The Envoy's Amulet has the Voice of Circle class action, which gives you a +2 bonus on persuasion checks. It's one of those things that can be procced once per long rest. And while that bonus is certainly useful, and there are times when it can be very useful, it's something you just keep in your inventory for situationally when you need to use it, but certainly not all the time. So I guess let's look at our journal here. So I guess we did complete that quest now. So the necromancer, yeah, we'll look at that here in a second. We're going to go back to camp anyway. The night song. This one glitched out a long time ago. This is further on in Moonrise. This is in Worm's Crossing. This is in Baldur's Gate. And these are further down the main quest line, as well as this. So yeah, we are finished up in here now. So we are going to let's head back out of here entirely and head to Joaquin's Rest. Have we done the Githyanki encounter here? We have not. Okay, so we need to take a long rest. And we need to figure out how we want to orient our party here. And I think there's only really one way for us to do that. So let's head to camp and take a long rest. Okay, now with the Githyanki Patrol encounter and the Mountain Pass, we want to have, well, through the Mountain Pass we don't necessarily have to have her, but definitely with the Githyanki Patrol, we want to have Shadowheart, or I mean, we want to have Lae'zel with us. So I think it's important that we start looking at how to outfit Lae'zel, and this is where I probably should have gone back and not sold the chain shirt plus 2 back. But let's see what we have. Okay, so you can't click on a slot on them to see what you have available. That is only doable with the party members. Okay, let's go see first, I guess, what we have in our traveler's chest.
What's hiding here?
Okay, so we do have Herald in here, which is good. We could give that to Lae'zel. So here's a chain shirt plus 2. That can go to Lae'zel. She can take a shield. Okay, none of those really do any good. The haste helm she can wear. Okay. Then the Everburn blade she can use. And she still needs gloves, I believe. Astarian's not going to be in this fight. So I guess we can give her Fleet Fingers here. So let's see what she has. So that trades out 1 for 1. So the chainmail, I need to probably go pick that up to get her armor class up to 18. The haste helm is good. That's going to give her more movement. Herald is perfectly fine. For her, being able to bane a target at range. Fleet fingers don't really matter. She needs boots and amulets and rings. No, charm doesn't matter because it's hold person. Sorry, just going through here and trying to... I don't think she has the mark. So she needs boots. I don't think any of these boots really matter. Well, the acrobatics +1 wouldn't be a huge disadvantage. And she's going to need a one-handed weapon to start. Are there any rings? Or amulets? Yes. Here. I don't get cast any lightning damage on anything coming up. So any rings? I mean, the jump spell is what it is. Doesn't really matter. I don't think I'm going to be getting charmed anytime soon. But it's better than nothing. Okay. So we are going to head to bed. We're going to quickly fast travel back out and go pick up that chainmail again.
The cub holds out his leg, revealing a ragged wound. The cub inspects the wound, giving it a curious peck.
The little beast's quite charming once you get accustomed to the smell of rotting flesh.
Okay, so that'll complete the owlbear section of it. He's now going to be in our camp. Okay, so we're going to head back to the Myconid colony, quickly pick up her armor.
What could they accomplish? Welcome back.
I don't know if we sold it here,
I do enjoy
or if we sold it to Amelium.
If anything in my private collection is to your liking.
It's right there.
Very well. I have mushrooms.
And where is it? I did buy it.
I wonder what.
Okay, chat, where am I missing it?
Can't give up now.
There it is. Oh, putting it in the wrong slot. Okay. And she needs a one-handed weapon that we will get out of our traveler's chest. And I think Faithbreaker is probably still, or Skybreaker still in here. Yes. So this would actually give me an opportunity to wear the Helmet of Smiting as well, because I can use Searing Smite, so that would apply a condition and I would gain temporary hit points equal to my Charisma modifier. Now her Charisma modifier probably is not that great, come to think of it. So that probably won't work too well, but for now, let's go ahead and remove Astarion from the party. He's going to hate that.
First in my heart.
Hello, my dear. Oh, darling, I'm hurt. I thought we had something special. I guess I'll spend my evenings lounging here while you do all the hard work. It sounds awful.
And we are going to bring Lae'zel into the party, and there might be a level up with Lae'zel to do.
Speak. It is a certainty. I had assumed our parasites served a Geich elder, but I believe they serve a greater master still.
Yeah, the search box. I probably need to remember that.
A question that burns in my belly day and night. Elders and collectives abide by their own tenets. It would require a powerful creed to unite them. And now this voice, this creed, finds our own ears. If it reaches this plane, it may reach others. It is over where I am concerned. It is through conflict that we strengthen our bonds. Yet I do not recommend Shadowheart seek it again. The next resolution may not end in her favor. It is done.
Okay, so let's see how many level ups we have for Lae'zel here. All of them. So, for a fighter, obviously Action Surge. I'm not going to go through all of these. We've gone through a bunch of these before. So, Battle Master is the subclass that I like. I mean, Eldritch Knight is actually really, really fun to play. So, this is what I believe it was Lord Henry said earlier in the chat. With Weapon Bond, you can throw that lightning charge trident that we have, and it will automatically return to you after it's been thrown. That isn't something that normally happens until you get much later on, and you pick up a really cool weapon that does that, that's legendary later on. But, I mean, now you're making me decide if I want to go a different way. I don't. For now, I don't want to get too caught up in it. I'm going to... take these now just so we can get through it. I'll respec her later if she becomes a part of this. So again, just like we did previously, here's her extra attack ability, which is always huge. Okay, and now we get a new feat here. And at this point, well, I think I know what I want to do with her. I think I'm going to hold off. Well, no, for now, I'll respec this later because I have somewhat of a plan of what I want to do with her. But for now, I just want to get on with it. So I'm going to change her out to this and this, get her armor class up. And I'm not going to need that movement to start off. So this is how we're going to go. Now I want to split some of these. Move them over here. Got 10, 15, and 14. Let's split off 3 here. 3 here. Even those things out. Now Shadowheart. He's got the Sanctuary spell prepared.
There's no time to waste.
Right? Yes, she does. Alright, let's get out of here.
No one will ever believe this.
We'll go fight some Githyanki. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to leave camp.
So, have we buried the hatchet, Lae'zel?
Actually, I didn't want to leave camp. I wanted to go to Joaquin's Rest now.
It's a metaphor.
Okay, so
Metaphor. But if you need...
we need to head out toward the mountain pass here.
We would be reckless.
Don't waste a
It
step.
is certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done.
Tell me, Lae'zel, when you say we might be purified at your creche, what does that mean exactly?
Augustil will affix the Zafisk, the Purifier, to our heads. Its magic will quell the parasite in an instant.
If only that were true. Okay, so we're going to make our way down here a little bit. And from here, we are going to break our group.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
Let's get
We're
on
going
with
to
it.
have Shadowheart cast Sanctuary on Lae'zel.
Assume nothing. Quickly then.
Drop your weapons!
I'll feed your innards to the ants before I do that, Istik.
This is your last chance!
No, look up. That was your last chance, Istik. Now burn!
Stop wasting time, Beretta. You're not here to play with the locals.
Of course, Kithrak. We merely sought to...
No excuses. Question, kill, then move on. Find the weapon. Our queen watches us. Fail her at your peril.
Those whelps are blocking the bridge. Time to put them in their place.
Okay, so we're going to continue moving down here with Lae'zel. Sanctuary still has 7 turns.
Ryder, my time is short. Lead me to...
Shh! Such a familiar tone. Were I not merciful, I would slice the skin clean from your meat. Yet you are not bleeding, for I am nothing if not merciful. Your name, child?
Lae'zel.
Lae'zel. Proud, regal, even.
You will call me Gestil Kithrak.
Voss, Knight Supreme. The Queen's silver, the Queen's sword.
I am who you say.
A Geich vessel has fallen from the sky, Lae'zel. Thieves aboard have taken a weapon most precious. Take word to your creche. You are to join our search. Speak up, child. Affirm your mandate.
My mandate, Gestil Kithrak, is to locate this crash. I was infected aboard a Geich ship and need to be purified. Your mandate is to aid me.
Purified? Oh, Lae'zel. Why must the truth be so bitter? Soon your skin will go gray, and your blood will run silver. You will shed your skin to become Geich. Only in death are the infected cleansed.
You will give us the weapon, then you will bend your head for the sword.
Stand down, Knight. I do not have what you seek.
Our queen's word binds me.
Beretta, see that her skull is split and the tadpole crushed. Then examine her corpse. I will take word to the Undying Queen.
To Danos, to the sky!
Okay, so that kept her from having to withstand all of those attacks.
Keep low and quiet.
At the ready. You've got the wrong man for this. To new horizons.
So now we can get ourselves into position here. And we have a nice big group of Githyanki right here. Githforeth is one to concentrate on, as well as, obviously, Sarth Baretha. He can cast Hold Person, and he does it all of the time, it seems. So, concentrating on him is a good way to start. So let's not take any chances. Let's try and move around here to the side. I don't know. This looks like a weird detection cone. So he wants to move completely on top of the bridge. That's not a problem for me. I don't mind if he moves out here. Make sure he's not moving when I cast this. He's going to want to move. Okay, well I think he can cast it from there without a problem.
A spell a day.
Okay. Caused some really good damage against Phareth. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Okay, now my Paladin's not going to be able to get in there very easily.
The gods are watching me.
But I do have Misty Step. Let's look at these detection cones. Oh, and they would be facing each other. We could try and take out Raider Coast. And get rid of this detection cone so we could get in behind Beretha. Yeah, Raider Coast detection cone is the problem here. Don't know if I'll be able to do that much damage.
Best think
We'll see.
Or I'm lost.
Move him back just in
Can't
case.
afford to stay idle.
So what can we do with Guiding Bolt here? Maybe. Oh, okay. So there goes his detection cone. And that means the area behind Beretha and I think the area here are completely clear.
Breathe deep and move.
So let's go down here and drop the hammer on Beretha. Before we do that, need to bind my weapon.
This calls for
See, I remembered this time, chat.
What path lies before me?
Okay, so we are able to get in here to hit her. So yes, I think that's good. Let's take our shot here. Okay, so I will use Luck of the Far Realms. I will Divine Smite. Oof. That left a mark.
Victory awaits.
And now let's try and get rid of Beretha here. Okay, great, thank you. Wow, can't hit a 60%er. I'm trying to save some actions to go after Githfaresh after this, and none of these are landing. Are you kidding me? Let's just go ahead and miss all four, please. Let's just... Yep, absolutely perfect. Yep. Love it. Hold person, I'll counterspell that. Nice try, though. Okay, I'm going to move Gale back from the edge a little bit. Half his movement. Yeah, this, I know. Look at this. Look at this. Rolled a 4. Rolled a 6. Rolled a 3. And rolled a 1. Yeah, it's great. I love D&D. Perfect.
Can't give up.
Got to move. Concentrate.
No.
24. Let's see. Let's throw a Divine Smite on that too. That's what having a 20 armor class does right there, folks. I don't even know why I bother using you, Lae'zel. Yep. Don't even know, I'm not even gonna bother you. Yep. You deserved every second of that.
Strike hard, strike fast.
What fools these mortals be.
Okay.
Nothing will stand in my way. No time for mercy.
Sorry, everybody. That was a frustrating fight.
Kithrak demanded my head. I should have given him yours. Bah! This is a distraction. The Kithrak deserves the whole of my scorn. How dare he speak my queen's name? How dare he dishonor her child? Yes, judicious counsel, and vexing given the source. I am a child of Gith. I will abide by protocol and seek the Kresh Gustil, as Vlaakith has taught. And then I will skewer the heretic with his own silver sword. A Kresh is near, that much is certain. We follow the path forward and seek signs of Githyanki settlers. No one, not even the ignoble Jastil Kithrak, will keep me from my purification.
Okay, so we did pick up a couple of inspirations there.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood. An efficient path.
We're gonna search Beretha last.
Worth examining.
That is true, Peach. He's only here for this section, but still. that was frustrating with those rolls that only she seemed to be encountering.
Markings. Could this be? Magical energy courses through the slate, then to Lae'zel. A mystical map glows before Lae'zel, revealing a Githyanki refuge beyond the mountain pass.
The slate also reveals the Githyanki's purpose. They are combing the Sword Coast in search of a polyhedric relic of great importance to their queen.
The map is clear. I will soon reach a Githyanki creche. I must hurry forth. Purification is at hand.
Okay, so she's going to get an instant upgrade here. I'm going to keep the shield weapons in her inventory, but she's going to get a straight upgrade over the Everburn blade with the Githyanki greatsword.
I have a lot on my mind and, well, in it. Let's have a look. Swift as my feet can carry me.
A long way to go still.
Let's move. With haste.
Okay, so now we'll head up this direction.
To put my hands on everything.
And this is the wording that I talked about earlier. It makes it sound like this is a one-way trip. I wish this was not here because it tends to dissuade people from going through here. And it really should be worded differently. Okay, so now you're in the...
I can keep going a little
in the
longer
mountain
now.
pass. And this is still part of Act 1. It's just... it's kind of like the Underdark is to the Overworld. It's the same type of stuff. It's just there's a major quest line or a major companion quest that gets advanced here, and that has to do with Lae'zel. So we're going to take some time and explore this outside area here first, because there's a lot of stuff that you can do out here, and as you're looking around you see there's various other things.
At the ready.
Okay, so now...
Wait. These markings. Tirsu's script scratched in the ground. As I expected. A creche must be nested in the temple below. We must go there at once. You don't have to trust them. Only to trust me. I have not failed you yet, and I have no intentions of it now. I don't need you to believe me for it to be true. Very well. You may lead. But if we stray too far that our chance is lost, I'll make my way there alone.
Okay, so there are a few pathways that you can go. Remember, there was another way into the mountain pass from the goblin camp. Right? And that is where this goes.
No time to dally.
Let's get going.
Okay, so we'll just do a quick exploration up here.
What path lies before me?
And remember this. Inside the goblin camp, where we walked up here and had our first encounter with the artifact saving us here. This leads you into this area of the mountain pass. So again, all part of Act 1. Multiple ways to get here. One through the patrol and one through the back of the goblin camp, and both of them are meant to level gate you, so to speak, that you have to probably be a certain level to get through the goblin camp fights, and you have to be a certain level definitely to get through the Githyanki patrol, and that will both lead you into this area. So we do have another waypoint here, and that waypoint pops up in our list just like everything else in here. And then we have this pathway here, and we have another pathway over here. Both of these...
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
At least things have stayed interesting. Just out of view.
You want to be careful as you move up. Okay? We have ghouls and death shepherds up here. Now these are really cool enemies, by the way, but you want to watch where the detection cones go. Okay, so they go right about down to there. Okay? We have ghouls. We have death shepherds up here to deal with. Now, a couple of ways to deal with this encounter. And we're going to hold back.
My faith will guide me.
Ah, excellent choice.
Vlaakith's will be done.
I can't waste any more time. Never wanted the easy path.
And we're actually going to approach from a different way. Now, this way is much more difficult to approach, and you'll see why. Do I have... Don't have it on me, doesn't matter. Okay, so I failed a perception check here. And you'll see what happens. Failed another perception check. Okay, that's about as far as I'm going to be able to go. Without getting into their detection cones. And I'm just going to see how far my range is. I'm on the low ground here. So I'm going to wait for one of the Death Shepherds to come back. I'm going to wait for this guy to come back down here. Hopefully this guy will still be all the way back there. Okay, and let's see if I can make it up here without getting blown up. I didn't expect that guy to come all the way down here.
Be wary.
Okay, so there I found one of the repulsion mines. I can make this attack. So let's just go ahead and start off combat here with this. Okay. Now they're all surprised at this. So I can get in another set of attacks here. Okay, and we're going to move all the way back down this same way we came up.
Can't slow down.
There's the ghast. Okay. So now we have a few more enemies up here. And we're going to get in another attack here. Might as well go after the ghoul. Let's see if we can push any of them back. Wait. No. I need to dash. And move back here. Dash takes an action for me. I want everybody to start making their way down this path here. There was one of the mines. All right. I'm going to move Lae'zel up here to support Gale.
Unheard, unseen. I am death.
And she missed again. Okay, I'm about to turn off Great Weapon Master, because even with 60 and 70%ers, she just still can't hit.
Onward.
Well, so much for peace. May the gods take you first.
I should have used my additional damage options first. Need to get rid of the ghouls here as well. But now...
No time to dally.
Okay, so he saved. So yeah, now it's going to get fun. Ooh, I love the fact he's going after Gale. Really? That's better. Okay, so... Alright, Lae'zel. What are your hit chances? 60%? How about we just turn this off because I don't trust you anymore. That was better.
Unleash me.
Yeah, no, I did. I used them there at the end. I wasn't interested in using them on the ghouls for the most part because I wanted to save the superiority die for the Death Shepherds. So he's frightened. He's got disadvantage on this attack. Let's see if I can move Gale back.
Good move.
Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, so I definitely want to... It's got 7 left. Critical miss, that's exactly what I needed.
Heading there.
I mean, seriously, good luck hitting him. A 22 armor class right now. So, good luck. Let's remove the Death Shepherd here first. Not a problem. Okay, so now here, there's my disarming attack here. He's locked in place. Now we can, it doesn't matter if we push him back or not. Actually, it might. Let's move to this side of him. Try and push him into the cloud of daggers again. Did he make it? He might be a little short. We do have a Great Weapon Master attack, but I can't reach him. Oh, I can, because nope, this is a bonus action too, so I can't reach him from there. So might have been able to kill him. That might have been a misplay.
Let me recite their demise.
Doesn't matter, I can kill him here. Okay, and now I can cancel this. Start moving Gale
Onward.
Down here. Wow, just can't hit with that thing now. Okay, I was hoping it wouldn't come to that. Was hoping that I could kill the ghoul back up enough to give me range to knock the ghast back. But now I'm just in a fight with him, so... that'll kill him.
Time to press ahead.
Knew that was going to happen.
Taking position.
Battle of wits.
Doesn't matter with Gale. Want him to get in front. Okay. One last time, Shadowheart. Okay. That hit. Wanted to go after me again. Okay, fine. I'm actually going to move off a little bit. This is going to provoke an attack, but with a 22 armor class, I'm not too worried about it. Could have been using Divine Sense as well.
Time to strike.
Now, this might trigger this mine.
On the move.
Oh. No, it's that one there. Okay. $55, $55, $70. Alright. So ran a little long because of that. I was expecting that to go a bit easier. But in the Bard playthrough, this is going to be substantially easier. With this playthrough, without a lot of AoE denial, it's easier to split this group roughly in half. Because I've got two damage dealing frontline characters in the group. Can anybody hear me? My cat stepped on my power cord or power button on my computer, and it seems like okay, I am still live. The game is quit though. So I'll just end it by saying this. Shame on my cat. But cats are going to be cats. The game is quit. Hopefully there was a save in there. If there wasn't, I'll have to check. It was in the middle of shutting down and the game is closed. But we'll pick up there and explain some of that fight later on next week since we don't have the game open. So I apologize for that. Sorry. Nothing I can do. I'll open it up and check the game and see if there was an exit save there or not. If there wasn't, then I'll replay that off stream and get us back to the same spot we were. So, but it was time to end the stream. So, as always, I'd like to thank all of you for coming along on our journey today. I always enjoy interacting with all of you in chat. It's a lot of fun. And again, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.